Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news, add-ons, and updates. Today we have some A380 news, some new AI traffic, all kinds of great stuff coming down the pipeline, as well as new hardware. So stick around for this one. It's going to be a good one. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. All right, so first up, you guys, I do want to apologize if any echo is coming through the sound system here. Unfortunately, I did just get done with another move. We moved houses yesterday, so I'm still getting the office set back up, but I happened to be perusing through some of the news today and found some really awesome stuff on FS Elite. I want to give a big shout out to FS Elite and all of their team and the news that they provide for us as the flight sim community, everything from DCS World, Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane, FSX, and P3D. They cover them all, and they are a fantastic resource. So I do want to give a big shout out to them and give them all the support that I can. First up is that we are finally starting to see some fantastic new work coming out about the A380X from Flybywire. This has been an aircraft that has been talked about for so long now, and I am so glad to finally see it starting to come into fruition. We are now getting, as you can see here, inside shots. This is a link to a video, or this is a copy of a video on YouTube that I will make sure to put a link down in the description for you guys to watch the entire thing. So here we are seeing the detail and the effort that's being put into the flight deck. You can see all of the depth and the buttons and switches and the knobs, the wear and tear on them as well. Obviously, this is very much so a work in progress. If you guys do happen to spot any flaws, I'm not going to point any of them out. But if you do happen to see them, remember this is very early work in progress still. There are also sounds included with this particular video. Again, a link to this will be down in the description below, but I cannot wait to get my hands on this aircraft. This is an aircraft that I have waited for so long. I think this is an aircraft that has had me in awe since I first ever saw one when I was waiting for my flight once at Phoenix Sky Harbor. This is a very massive airplane and a very massive undertaking by the Flybywire team, and I'm so grateful that, if memory serves, this is going to be yet another aircraft that is free upon launch, which is just amazing in itself. But I do believe, if memory serves, that is the end goal here, is to keep the Flybywire aircraft free to everybody. But quite frankly, from Flybywire, I would pay just about anything they wanted for one of their aircraft. I have loved the A380X, and I cannot wait to see this thing in full flight. It is going to be so awesome operating the A380 from Flybywire. So again, make sure you guys come check out the full video. Link to it will be down in the description below. Next up is we have another air traffic control service available for Microsoft Flight Simulator P3D version 4 and P3D version 5. We will be checking this out on the channel, you guys. I am always looking for the best of the best ATC, and it's really funny because many of you have been asking for an ATC showdown, and I have just about all of them. I have FS HUD, I have Pilot to ATC, I can't remember what the other one's called, but I have another one, and now we're going to be looking at Pro ATC. I will be checking this out this week, so make sure you guys check this out. This is one of my big key factors that I'm really impressed with, and that's this right here. Is that the ability to use your microphone to actually speak back with Pilot to or with the air traffic control, much like what we saw in Pilot to ATC. Now, I do want to make something very clear as we go into these guys to make sure you set your expectations accordingly. Just like with FS HUD, just like with Pilot to ATC, just like with any of these, there are very extreme limitations to how real they can make them sound. And that is because everything is based on a protocol. Everything is based on a formula. Everything is based on a if and or then features, right? So, or variables, I should say. So you're always going to get some robotic feel to any of these softwares. So please keep that in mind. We are still quite a ways away from having a true AI that is just going to sound completely natural, like you and I speaking. because it's not thinking like that. Again, it works on protocols, it works on variables, it works on and, if, and then statements to generate the correct responses back to the pilot that you're looking for. So as we move through this, because I am going to do this ATC showdown, let's make sure that we keep in mind how they operate and what the limitations are to any of them. You have, as of today, as of this moment, you are not going to get a fully featured ATC software that's going to sound like you and I speaking to each other. So with that in mind, $49.95. Now I'm going to say right off the gate, this already has me a bit on the edge, because I do believe, now I'll go back and double check myself here in a minute, and regardless, I am going to buy this. I am going to purchase this and review this week on the channel, but I do believe $49.95 is the most expensive of the group. I think Pilot to ATC is right behind it, but I could be wrong. It's either right behind it or right above it. So it's definitely up there in the price range. So we're definitely going to be we're going to be a little bit hard on the review and the first impressions. You're going to be expecting quite a bit at 49.95 euros, which comes out to even I believe that's even more so than that. I think it's about $60 in US dollars if memory serves. But that's totally okay. Like I said, it's all going to be based on what we see, in the software. So be on the lookout for that. I am excited to try it out. Again, I'm always looking for the best of the best. Also, while we're on it, we are also going to be having another very quick video on FS HUD. And make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. FS HUD is another ATC service. It does not have voice to speech activation yet. It is something that is planned. But what we're going to be talking about with FS HUD is more of the limitations and giving you guys a better understanding of how all of these softwares work on the back end. So that way you can understand the limitations. And through the limitations, you can understand that each of the softwares are going to have a lot of the same variables, and a lot of the same pros, and many of the same cons. The developer of FS HUD has broken down a very, very in-depth conversation that we're going to go over with here on the channel. So you guys, he's really done a great job as far as explaining what goes on in the back end, so that way you guys can make the most educated decision about what's going to be the best bang for your buck. So be on the lookout for that as well while we're on this. State level avionics. We have seen this in the past. We have seen some of their stuff in the past, but they have announced that RealSim Gear G500 and the Virtual Fly Switcho compatibility. So what you're basically able to do, you're able to combine hardware and hardware from multiple different developers here through the state level developments. Now this is very cool. Now I'm not going to hit you guys with a blindside here at all. All of these products are quite pricey. They are definitely very much so for the avid flight simmer, for someone who very much so wants that very in-depth, best of the best technology. As you can see here, these pits are no joke. I mean, you can take a look right here. They are very, very in-depth, although those are my rudder pedals. I love them. Anyway, this isn't for your just average flight simulation. If this is when you want to get really down and dirty, you want to get as realistic as you can, really get that immersion, that great experience, their products are fantastic. This is very, very high quality stuff. So just keep that in mind if you guys do decide to go do a little bit of research and start looking at some of the pricing. They are expensive in my opinion, but they are also very, very, very good quality products. So just keep that in mind. In this particular scenario, this is definitely an example of you are getting what you pay for. I want to make that very clear. And the only reason why I'm pointing that out is because the last time I did a video on some of these products here, people went, yeah, well, until you look at the price. Yes, that is true. But just like anything else, again, what are you looking for? How much quality are you looking for? How much realism and authenticity are you looking for? And ease of use, right? So it always comes back to what are you looking for your sim rig? But I always want to make sure the new hardware developments do hit the channel. I think that's one of the things that gets pushed to the side quite often in a lot of news updates is the lack of hardware and availability and customization. And at the very least, for me, this is what got me looking at some of the cheaper options is I see setups like this and like, yes, I'd really want that, but I really can't afford this kind of build. I can't anyway. So I have to go to other directions, and I found some pretty awesome stuff through these kind of teasers as well. So anyways, make sure you guys check the article out. The compatibility is pretty awesome. The more hardware that is compatible with each other, the easier it is to expand the flight sim. The easier it is to expand the flight sim. Obviously, the better experience you have. Okay, next is FS2 Crew has added compatibility with the Phoenix A320. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, FS2 Crew FS2 Crew, gosh, why is that so hard to say, is a third-party software that you basically install on your machine, and it gives you the functionality of a virtual co-pilot. Now, this means that you can walk through different flows and checklists and actually communicate verbally with the co-pilot. It also gives you some pretty awesome experiences and immersion enhancements. As, for example, you're rotating or you're rolling down the runway, you start getting your V-speed call out, you get in the landing gear, starts getting brought up for you as it should. Basically everything that co-pilot or that first officer or whoever's sitting in the opposite chair that you decide to operate with takes care of that responsibility, but you're actually hearing that audible enunciation as well. It is extremely cool. It is a very, very nice add-on. It's definitely one that I always forget to use. Quite frankly, I'm going to be honest, I forget to launch it, and it's one of those, like, you come back to the video a while later and it's like, damn, I wish I had. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody who is an avid FS2 Crew user, or avid commercial aircraft user who likes the A320. The A320, I believe, let me actually check on this. I believe we have more than that. You do also, by the way, get SimBrief integration, so it'll actually recognize your flight plans and be able to import them as well as call those out to you if you are reviewing them. Again, the push-to-talk key. I'm trying to see if it has the full... I believe we purchased it per aircraft. Let me see if I can find that for you guys real quick, because that is a big one. So I know you have it for the Phoenix A320. There it is for the Mad Dog X. The Aerosoft CRJ. I thought we had the Flybywire too. You know what? Here, just for you guys, we're going to look this up. Hang on. What the hell happened there? FS2 Crew, let's just go to their site, because I do want you guys to be aware of this. This is a really awesome application. I'm really impressed with this one. And I think we shop per aircraft. We do. Okay, so we have the Phoenix. We have the Mad Dog. We have the CRJ. There it is, the A320. So you do have it for the A320. You also have a pushback express, so you can actually control the pushback using it. It is a very nice operation. I still prefer toolbar pushback. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And toolbar pushback is free. I think it does everything that I needed to do, and then some. However, I will say that the Pushback Express utility from FS2 Crew, I do own it as well, and it is very, very nicely done. But in that particular department, I would say hold your money and stick with the toolbar pushback. However, all of the FS2 Crew for the aircraft are phenomenal. They are wonderful to have on board with your aircraft. Okay, and probably the most exciting news that I have today, guys, GSX Ground Services is confirmed to be due out this month, being August of 2022. I am super stoked for this, especially given the fact there's only about 2.5 weeks left in August. If that, I think, well, we'll see, what are we, the 14th already of 31 days? You guys do the math, probably better at than I am. Super stoked about this one. GSX, for those of you who don't know, maybe didn't use some of the older versions of the flight simulations, whether it be X-Plane 11, I think it was P3D actually that this existed in. GSX is an extremely well done ground services application, whether it be for your pushback or the catering carts or your fuel trucks, your baggage loaders. It adds a ton of immersion, adds a ton of realism, adds a ton of ease of access to all of the ground services that are involved in commercial and general aviation traffic. It is a super awesome add-on. I have been waiting for this, as many others, since the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's just call it what it is. Since the beginning, we have been waiting for GSX to hit Microsoft Flight Simulator. So I am super stoked. This month is going to be the month of GSX forever. We should probably just change the name from August to GSX month. I mean, I feel like that's pretty appropriate for right now, given the circumstances, what we have going on here. I mean, we'll probably have to run it by somebody who names the months, but, I think the August should be renamed to GSX month. Super stoked about this. Can't wait till I can do a review on this one, or first impressions. I really got to stop saying review. I hate that word. But definitely be looking out for that, because I will be all over this. All right, let's move on before I just keep repeating myself over and over again about how amazing GSX is. Did I mention that GSX is really amazing? Okay, moving on. Another aircraft that, ironically enough, because I'm always, and I say ironically because I'm always stuck on the commercial airliners and the fast movers and things like that, as far as, in your luxury aircraft. Super excited for this one, the Dash 7. SimWorks Studios has shared some further release on the aircraft. It sounds like basically the exterior model just needs to be tightened up on this one. Obviously, a few other things. Obviously, I'm not on the development team, so I'm not going to speak too deep into that, but they said as far as the exterior model goes, rivets, decals, things of that nature need to be added, but basically the flight model is complete, and most of the instruments, gauges, radios are already in the aircraft and fully functional. So they are just a matter of, cleaning everything up. Here we go right there, that last line. They are also working on fine-tuning the engine, such as getting the right amount of RPM and torque. But that is some really excellent news for me. This is an aircraft I've been waiting on for a very long time. I always like this one. You guys know that I really love to fly in the Caribbean, and this is just one of those aircraft that I think would be fun to go that route with. But even cooler was actually going more along the lines, I had never thought of it till I saw this livery, was actually going to the Antarctic with it. Like, I don't think I've flown up there yet. And I don't know why it took so long for that to process, but that's actually a really phenomenal idea, is to, even with some of the aircraft that we have now, I'm sitting here thinking about it, that this might be kind of fun to do. And especially if we work something in like a, self-made career mode or something. But super stoked for this aircraft. Super stoked for this aircraft. I think it is a slick looking plane. That's a really good shot of it right there. And I could see a bunch of different uses that would be a lot of fun. It's a nice 4-engine plane, a bit on the older side. We're going to be, you can already see some of the wear and tear being done there on the cockpit. It's going to have a lot of the older gauges with it. There we go. I know where that is. I just can't remember the damn name of it, but I know where that is. That is the freaking runway right there, if I'm not mistaken. It literally dives down. For those of you who don't know, I cannot think of it off the top of my head right now, but I have flown out of here multiple times, and in VR, it's absolutely terrifying, just for the record. Absolutely terrifying. Not too bad on the 2D, but it still gives you a run for your money. Anyway, got sidetracked. Ooh, shiny. Super excited for this aircraft. Can't wait for SimWorks Studios to release the Dash 7. This will be another one that I will definitely be doing a first impressions video on its day of release. So be on the lookout for that. Now, there is no news on release date yet, but it sounds like it is coming right around the corner. Be sure to check out the article, guys, as it does give you a link to their Facebook page, which gives up some further information on other aircraft and projects as well. So if you guys are interested in that information, be sure to check that out. Next up, Seafront Simulations released another YouTube video talking about their latest release of enhanced AI traffic for C. This is going to be version 2 released for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This completely changes all of the leisure boats and vessels around in the area, changes their sound, their wake, the texture details, basically bringing the sea life to life, if you will, and making it far more realistic. I will absolutely, completely agree that right now the sea life in Microsoft Flight Simulator is extremely lacking. Again, as I mentioned previously, I really enjoy flying around the Caribbean area. It is very relaxing to me. I truly enjoy it. But one of the things that is a major brain killer is when you go to make a turn like this, you look down and you just see that 2D flat image of what was a boat in the satellite imagery, or just a static object that just sort of looks like somebody put a piece of paper in there and called it a boat. So super excited for this one. I'm actually going to check this out. I remember when it first launched, I never gave it the shot, but I'm definitely going to be grabbing this particular version of it. You can see here it is, approximately $13.25 for US dollars. But these textures look absolutely wonderful. Let's walk through some of the screenshots here before we step away and call it a day here. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I really like the water effect here. That's probably one of the better wakes that I've seen yet. And then here's a whole bunch of different sailboats you can expect to see. That's pretty awesome. I like that they did that. And then here's a night shot. It looks like a fishing trawler, maybe. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And you can even see the color discoloration down here from the reflective lights there. But you think, oh, there you go. That's a nice shot. That's pretty cool. The helicopter behind it. Very awesome stuff. Again, lots of little things that will definitely, absolutely, more than 100% positive, will absolutely change the immersion experience. And $13.25, I think that is definitely reasonable for something like this. Here's a full list of the features of everything that you get. As always, my friend, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found this information useful. I certainly found a bunch of pieces of information that I was super excited to share with you guys today, so that's why I jumped all over this one. Again, forgive the audio if you guys can hear the echo or the feedback. I do apologize. That will be remedied very, very shortly. We just got the office set back up today, so now it's a matter of getting all the sound dampening equipment back up on the walls and all that good jazz. We had to put carpet in the floors ourselves, so that was fun. But hopefully the stress of moving will be over soon and we'll get back to business as usual. The 787 guide, guys, is approximately, I would say, about 60% complete. We are at a snag at the moment. A lot of the information that I'm trying to find is very hard to get a hold of. So just stick with me. That is on its way. I know many of you are waiting for that as well. Also, please keep the expectations legitimate, as much of the 787 functionality is not in the simulator, but I'm doing my best to at least put it in the guide in case it ever becomes so. Other than that, folks, that wraps up today's news. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. I hope Monday treats you guys all well. Stay safe and healthy. And you guys know what's next. I'll see you in the next one.